Good evening. I'm the professor. Hi. And I've got some sad news to tell you guys. Because you see, right from the very beginning, I set all of this thing up to be a job, a business. I set it up so that I could go and teach people unlimited, as much as I wanted, for as long as I wanted, every single day. I gotta go out and just teach. And it was a phenomenal success. I actually managed to get this thing running and going. YouTube, the highest videos there I got was 10,000 viewers on one of my videos. That's the highest I got. But I also had a huge amount of success over in all the coaching sessions and stuff I did. People were interested. They were going and paying, and a lot more than I thought too. I was able to do huge amounts. But I got a problem. It's a big one. I've got all of this knowledge and all of this ability and stuff like that, and I spent months teaching myself this. But I can't get any to do because I can't get these YouTube videos. These YouTube videos have been the bane of my existence as I keep trying to do them and they fail and back and forth and so slow, but I literally post 1 out of every 3 videos I tried to create. I kept grinding into the problem that I can't get past these videos. That thing. So, if I want to grow my business, if I want to get better, I gotta go to school. I gotta figure out how to do this right so I can actually do this properly and do it better in the future. But that's going to take me away from school for quite a long time here. So I have actually gone and registered for school, and in the fall, I am going to be doing data sciences. So this is my way of trying to get better. Unfortunately, though, it means that I have to take time away from doing what I'm here so I can actually dedicate it towards studying for school. So this is going to be your last chance for the professor to look over your account and make sure you've got everything set up right, to give you that edge over everybody else, to make sure you're not falling into pitfalls and stumbling along the way, because this game likes to throw those at people. This is your last chance to give me the opportunity to keep doing the things I like to do, and that's just help people. If you're willing to support me, if you're willing to come and just, book a session with me here and support for me to continue on going forward, to help pay for the schooling that I'm going to have to do, so that I can set this thing up to be even better the next time around, I'd love to give you a session, man. They're always a lot of fun. I'm going to use it to grow this thing I've got here, this Learning Eternal platform, and make it bigger, better, brighter. I'm going to make it so I am eternally teaching people. That is my goal. And if you think you can get behind an eternal dream like that, and you want to see it succeed, then drop a line. Let's enjoy the game together one last time. And finally, I gotta say thanks to all the people who supported me and got me this far here. Couldn't have done it on the own. I found out how difficult it was to take a Discord where I had built it and set it up, but had no one in it, to having a few people in it, cool, but to have people actually generate conversation among each other and to have it grow and explode. No matter how much I set up or put inside, I couldn't do that. I needed the people around me to make that happen. So thanks for all the people who helped me build this up, but also for all the people who helped me play on on server 64, as well as my alliance there. We keep changing the name as we're trying to balance it out in anticipation for migration here. I think we're Sun 64 is what we're at now. But just thanks for unforgettable memories, guys. And the dream will never end. May it live eternal. With that, on to the video. Thank you. Good evening, I'm the professor, and welcome to my video on Ramesses. As you can tell, this is the one that I've invested everything I've got, thrown everything I have into making this one army here the most powerful I can, and this is my main army. That's just how much value I put into it. But how good is it? That's an important question, and if I want to put all this investment in here, especially if I am, well then I'm definitely going to be going and doing my mega test. And here I did over 400 different tests along the bottom of all these different types and combinations and stuff, trying to figure out what was the most impactful and powerful of the different options, including a couple of Miyamoto Yodits. I've got Sun Tzu over here too, and I've even got a couple of Charlemagne testing him first. So if you're curious to look at this thing, the link will be in the description about how you can get to there. But let me go and show you some of the things I found. First off, I needed a baseline. So I took my Miyamoto army. This is with everything with 5 stars, with Trib is 3 stars actually. But all skills and stuff is 5 stars. But the best equipment, the best rings I've got. His total came out to be 203,000. So I went and did all my tests against here. And this is the thing I was going. It should kill my troop, was the idea. But I killed 203 of them here. Sun Tzu, Charlemagne, Theodora. So this is Sun Tzu without Ramesses. So you can also get this free to play and whatnot. It did 271,000. And the massive difference is they actually buffed Charlemagne and they fixed him. So now he plays with Sun Tzu well, and the army actually can do very, very well. Sun Tzu can keep up. That's awesome. Then we got Ramesses over here. And his damage is literally 50% more damage than what Miyamoto did. So that would mean that if I go over to here, this army was running around and doing 50% more damage than this army here was able to do. So here, could run around. That was just that much better. In a long fight, though, is one of the key things here. In a rally, though, Miyamoto will have a lot better shot because, as I said, his commander skill is, or he's so reliant on his commander skill to do his damage that if you can't actually get that off, like say in a rally, his damage drops pretty drastically. It's really, really important for him. But how do you even compare that kind of damage? That is really awesome. So let me show you a couple of things here about where all the damage is coming from and what's important. Now, when I go and build this army, this is the best, period. Okay, there is no other comparison. This is the best. You can go and run this. So you have Sun Tzu, Charlemagne, Theodora. This is the second best. Ramesses is better, but this actually has value, and it's got something good there. However, go grab my Ramesses again. Guy with the big blue head. With this army here, Ramesses isn't what makes it powerful. It's actually these two. The secret behind this army here is that these two in combination will make your commander explode so powerfully. You can replace the commander with somebody else and it'll still be very strong. These two are key and critical. But also, one of the things here is that 5 stars on Theodora is absolutely critical. 5 stars on Ramesses or on Sun Tzu is very, very critical as well. Charlemagne could go 3 stars and that's okay. But Theodora gets so much more power when this thing here goes off, giving the extra damage but also increasing how often it activates, which is 1 off, 1 on, 1 off, 1 on, 1 off. So it'll skip, it'll activate, skip, activate, skip, activate. Giving you an extra, what, 45%? No, I think it's Sun Tzu, it's 45. Yeah, 45 for charging skills, so Sun Tzu is 35 for Ramesses. So this one literally would go, and here was the Ramesses sheet and stuff like that. I had to create a second one for every time that it broke the thing, where it just overkilled it. And the damage of this thing here is able to spike up so hard. But even if we just take the average of 315, watch what happens if I drop out this thing. So now Ramesses, Charlemagne, Sun Tzu versus Ramesses, Charlemagne, Theodora. 310 down to that. I lost 80,000 damage for not having Theodora in there. That is horrible. That's a huge loss. Additionally, if I've got Ramesses and I got Trib in here and Theodora, she's only 3 stars, I get that. But 189 versus 318. The damage loss of, not having Theodora and Charlemagne in there is astronomical. It's just mind-blowing how much power these two heroes, actually I should say, how much power these two heroes have in combination that any other combination, such as if I wanted to run Philip in here, would lose like 100,000 kills. If I tried to do Sun Tzu in here, this would lose so much here. If I tried to do this combination with here, it would lose so much. You need to have one of these two heroes in Commander, and Theodora is just the best by far. So that's what those things here, and all of my testing and stuff like that would reveal that, so Sun Tzu, Charlemagne, and Theodora, 271. Whereas if I were to go, say, over here with Sun Tzu, Charlemagne, Ramesses, 174. Okay, you lost 100,000 for putting Ramesses in 3rd place, and look how little damage he did, right? It is so much power in those two support units that is what makes the army. So that's what I had to just really, really want to hammer away on. So this is what you want to go for, or with Sun Tzu. I will show both of them here in a minute. The skills that you want to go for is going to be Flame of Genesis and Strategy Master's Gift. Okay, Flame of Genesis is actually really massive because it gives you a huge amount of extra strategy, which scales a lot. Strategy Master's Gift gives you a 15% activation and then a bonus 30 here. High Spirit, if I were to actually go and look at its max value, is 18. So you only lose 3% activation chance, but you gain 30% damage, which is a massive improvement. So for him, it's pretty clear that those are the two skills that you want the most, for sure. When it comes to Charlemagne, there's two general thoughts here. You can either go Convocation War Tactic, but I have found that War Tactic and Bloodthirst is the better combination by quite a bit, for the simple reason that when you go and check the damage values, you're looking at 268, 30. The damage just isn't great. And this one, by the way, is with Convocation, War Tactic and Convocation. So the two highest damage skills that he's got available to him, and you're just not doing anything in remotely close to what you're doing with Ramesses. Instead, the thing of really, really high value is all the healing. Because the longer that you can make Ramesses do his thing, the more valuable it is. So the more stuff that these guys can do just to stall out, the longer he gets to do his absolute insane high damage. And that's what you really, really want. So I was trying those ones here. Bloodthirst, War Tactic are the two answers you go because they got the two healing. And you're trying to maximize recovery here as much as you can. That's going to be Charlemagne and then Theodora. Same thing with here. Like I tried with Convocation and stuff like that, but the answer was just pure raw healing is the most best thing you can do for this. Makes your army last as long as possible. Now, if you've got Sun Tzu instead, which obviously I don't got anything that there, the two skills that you're going to want to go is going to be High Spirit and Strategy Master's Gift, which I've got this one actually. There we go. You do not go Flash of Inspiration. I actually went and tested Sun Tzu with no Ramesses here. Sun Tzu, Charlemagne, Theodora. And Sun Tzu, Charlemagne, Theodora with Flash of Inspiration and no maneuver. And the results there were quite a lot reduced. Way better over here. Sun Tzu, Charlemagne, Theodora. And you want to run High Spirit, Strategy Master's Gift. That does mean that when it comes to Theodora, she loses War Tactic, and you take Maneuver instead. Okay? Keep Immortal Army. This is way more valuable than the War Tactic. This is actually a very, very powerful skill. But for the rings, there's really 3 rings that are standouts, and then I'll show you a couple of other options. First one is Lofty Mountain. This is the big one. Okay? This is going to reduce the damage you take, so it's going to stall you out until your commander skill goes off, which is nice. And then it's going to give you a large damage increase with a strategy bonus scaling. Ramesses, because of his Flame of Genesis here, is going to have really high strategy. So it's going to make whichever ring you put here really, really, really pop. And that's going to be really very valuable. Of the 3 rings, people will usually suggest Everflame on Ramesses and Lofty Mountain on, say, Charlemagne. I switched that as most important. And the reason for that thing here is I want to make his increase for his strategy increase as much as possible. And the strategy increases the strategy damage taken by 1.35. 5. Massive difference in value here between which one's the rings. This one gives you a really big strategy increase. That's valuable. So I want that to be as high as possible. Hence why this ring is on Ramesses. But other one will do it here. Now, the second ring here is going to be Everflames. And the value of this one here is that it does some strategy damage. Cool. Okay, that's going to tick up, and there's going to be some extra scaling there. But remember, this isn't what's going to be doing all your damage. It's your commander skill. This is like adding pennies on top of a dragon's hoard. It's nice, but it's pennies. This one here, though, increases the enemy troops' strategy damage taken, is really nice, and it scales differently. So it'll actually be a bigger impact than the number it'll look at. but these numbers are just so much higher. Like here's a 4.6% strategy increase, and we don't actually care about the damage that the rest of the army does, so this is only going to boost Ramesses' damage. Okay, so it's a smaller one. It's actually not that significant. The silence is nice because if it goes off in the early levels, it can help you stall till you get your commander skill. Very, very valuable, especially against a Lubu. So, this is a solid ring overall. And the third one is Skyward Knight. This is one that I'm probably going to say is the strongest of the 3 rings. So if I were to do it differently, instead of level 20 and level 10, I'd probably put Skyward Knight as my first up to level 20. That would be my priority. This one here will reduce the damage dealt by 15%. Okay, sure. It's on Theodora. She's not doing any damage, so that's fine. Increases your commander damage by a percentage, and gives you increased activation chance. This is the single highest. Like if I were to go... Increases damage by 17%. 15%. Oh, yeah, 15% here, actually. %. Okay, of the 3, it is the most powerful and impactful of the damage scaling rings onto Ramesses. With this, boost Ramesses damage, boost Ramesses damage, boost Ramesses damage. Big, massive thing. All of them are geared around that. Now, there is actually one other thing that you can aim for that's valuable here, and that's essentially what Lofty Mountain does. First 18 seconds after entering battle, reduces your troops' damage taken. So you can go, and if you don't have these rings, that's fine. This was really expensive, so is this one. Some of the other ones that you can go for that are really, really good value is going to be Tranquil Water for the same reason. It'll reduce your damage taken until Ramesses pops off. So this is the second one here, Ring of Badger. And this is valuable because so many of the really, really powerful, important heroes do secondary strike skills. All right, so this is going to be Lubu. It's going to be Mulan too, which is going to be a problem, right? Because she counters you and still does pretty significant damage. But this will also include the new heroes coming in Season 4, which actually can do quite a lot of secondary strike skills with, like, Bellasaurus. So this one here is a very high value and cheaper ring to get the same general effect as purple. So that is good. Ring of Serpent and Ring of Crow were 2 I tested, and I was not too satisfied with them for basically 2 reasons. One is that you could put Ring of Serpent and Ring of Crow on your army, but you want one of these 2 rings at least to be on your Ramesses. He's the one who you care the most about his strategy scaling. These 2, not as much. So you can actually go and put on Ring of Serpent here, and it gives him the extra strategy, and that's about the best use. But man, is ever getting one of these rings here way, way, way high value. Or if you're going to go and put that thing there, you can actually go and put, cheap as the rings are, the Ring of Tulip on him, and Ring of Rose, which I've actually got level 30, by the way. And now you're running with this. Double blue ring is an incredibly powerful setup if you got. That is a lot cheaper and is not using up resources elsewhere. This is definitely something you can go if you're, like, not free to play, but low spender or something like that. Those are good rings, solid rings that you can go. Now, I want to just point out a few things here. I'm just going to go and grab these ones here for a comparison point. When it comes to the army, if you're running Ramesses, it is critical that you get your commander skill off, because that's where all your damage comes from. Your rest of your kit and the rest of your 2 heroes don't do very much, but this can go and give you numbers like this, right? Where you got like 260 and then 26. It's literally 10 times more damage coming out of here. But if I go and run Ramesses in the back, the damage is just gone. It's just gone. This hero is so dependent on his commander skill that you really should not be running this army into a rally. It is going to be so much better for an open field battle, or at least other places where you can do that. Now, when you run this army, when you're running Theodora and Charlemagne and like Theodora has her damage reduction and both of those have all these heals and stuff, the army is actually very durable, so it will last quite a long time. That is good. Now, Sun Tzu is your commander with Theodora and Charlemagne. He does a bit less damage, but he can actually get, like, his commander skill is not that significant as far as his damage comes. It's smaller numbers here. 240 plus 270, that's going to be 510. That's where his damage comes from. It's all about making his signature skill go off as much as possible and as quickly as possible. So you will do a little less damage than Ramesses, but you will do it right from the very beginning, and you will do it with or without your commander skill. He works so much better in a rally. He also tends to fight Lu Bu better, which is a very powerful thing, because he gets his damage off immediately and can actually keep up with Lu Bu in the, first strike, rocket take kind of a fight. Plus, he has his durability that he can actually fall back on. He does really well fighting Lu Bus. He struggles with Lu Bu because his damage is delayed by about 9 seconds, and that's just enough time for Lu Bu to do quite a lot of damage in the very early. If you can only get Sun Tzu and you can't get Ramesses, that's okay. You are still going to be able to build this army very, very powerful. Even without Ramesses, you're still going to be able to be one of the strong meta armies. We are still going to be going into a very pikeman-heavy meta in Season 4. So that's all that extra good and value and stuff like that you're going to be really, really, really highly valuable and competent. This is something that's going to be very effective for you. If you get Ramesses, he is an open field monster. He is doing extremely well with that and will do better than Sun Tzu, but he has a few more limitations. You just can't use him in rallies. But you can run this army with either hero. You are not locked into one of them. But like I said, though, that is what builds your army. This is core and critical. So would I go these armies here? The answer is yes, absolutely. I'm going to go and throw everything I got into making this army here the best I can, because this is going to carry me all the way through Season 4. And with that, that's the video. Thanks for watching, and hopefully I'll see you on the Discord. Have a good day.